Screen share.
Hold on one moment. Will you try it now?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
All right. Well, hello, Lanner. Lanner is joining
Hello.
us from Malta tonight. And Lanner Cassar is a Jungian analyst, imaginative movement therapist, IMT, and a clinical psychologist. Dr. Cassar is currently head of the psychology department at the Gozo General Hospital in Gozo, Malta. He has completed a PhD from the Center of Psychoanalytical Studies in Essex. He's the author of the book Jung's Technique of Active Imagination and Dessois' Directed Waking Dream Method, Bridging the Divide, which was shortlisted for the Gradiva Award in 2021. He is also the director of Sight, an online platform where he teaches internationally on imaginative movement therapy. Dr. Cassar is also president of the Malta Deaf Psychological Association, a developing group of the IAAP. We're very happy to have you with us this evening, Lanner. And I'm saying this evening because I know it's evening over at your place. So without further ado, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rula, for the presentation. So the title of my presentation is Persian Carpets, Dream Weaving and Oneiric Journey. And I'll be focusing in the short time we have on trying to link Oriental carpets with dreaming, moving on to Persian carpets and the relationship with Freud, Jung, and what von Franz has to say about Persian carpets. Then again, moving on Oriental carpets, magical flights, and the imagination, and finally focusing on a particular group therapeutic imaginative approach called group dream weaving method in imaginative movement therapy. And I will be giving an example of a group dream weaving tapestry in the end, kind of to connect everything together. So Oriental carpets and dreaming. Even though in my title I choose the word Persian carpets, I think maybe they are the most famous, but Oriental carpets kind of is a more comprehensive umbrella of carpets. As you can see, they can be Persian, Turkish, Caucasian, Turkoman, and you can see as well the map, the lens of the Oriental carpets. I will be focusing a little bit on making sort of parallels between Oriental carpets and dreams or dreaming. Hand-woven carpets have a magic force through their color and geometry. A carpet can reverberate with some kind of primitive and archetypal force that it has in it. In the case of dreams, they carry a sense of numinosity. Dreams grip us. And the weavers themselves, those who are weaving the carpets, can be the kilim carpets in small towns, villages, or the pile carpets maybe in towns. In a way, they're also kind of artists which are engaging in a sort of active imagination. They are doing a form of moving meditation. These Oriental rugs also can be read as written pages. In their maze of design, there is a symbolic language. Some of it, in its ceaseless transmission through the centuries, has unhappily been lost. On the other hand, dreams also have a narrative. They tell a story, a myth, and have a symbolic language, and also call for an interpretation. Like carpets, who are made up with different knots, some are symmetrical, some are asymmetrical, like in the case of Turkish carpets. There's an undoing of knots, and we have to review the structure of the dream. Back to Oriental carpets, the symbol which the artisan's fingers weave into the rug is the projection not only of their subconscious motives, but also of their people and their time. Carpet weavers can be seen as poets, making the invisible visible. Dreams as well, in a way, are not only used in order to learn more about our inner world, our inner psyche, but also can be seen as saying something about the community, about the collective. In the Jungian tradition, we have social dreaming, for example. But this way of looking at dreams, also in a prophetic way, is also seen in the Bible and also in some tribal cultures in different countries. Oriental carpets also many times are depicted or depict on themselves a representation of nature. So in a way, they carry the outside inside the house. And again, their colors come from different natural, could be sort of vegetation, could be color of pomegranate or different colors of different vegetations. On the other hand, dreams also bring us to our own nature. So it's important to make this contact with our own nature as we live in a society in which we don't have time even to relate to nature nowadays. The Persian carpet also can be seen as the other. In a way, we can speak of a reverse colonization. Nowadays, we speak of the Magdalenization of the word, where the West even kind of tries to dictate different ways, even of healing in the East, for example. However, in the case of Persian carpets, together, of course, with other things, I think a lot of people in Europe, a lot of people in America still import a lot of Persian carpets. In fact, America is the greatest importer of Persian carpets. Likewise, in dream, we meet the other within us. In Persian carpets, in contrary maybe to Turkish carpets, even though when Iran was kind of taken over by Islamic dynasties, they still kept on depicting images of nature. And again, in these carpets, we can see the relationship that creation of nature, the symbols, the animals, the plants, the flowers are a symbol of creation and hands of the divine. So there is an interplay between one reality and the other. On here you can see also the tree of life, which connects the earth with the sky. Again, this association between dreaming and carpets, I think, is in a way can be very much focused if we look at Freud's couch and the three main Oriental carpets in his office. You can see one on the floor, you can see one on the chaise longue, and one on the side of the chaise longue. And this is something which at the time of Freud was very popular. They became very popular. There was a growing Western interest in Oriental carpets in the late 19th century, and it was related to the emergence of mass consumption of industrially produced commodities. This was also a time when all the things Oriental became fashionable. Freud was taken in too by this fashion, being an antique collectionist. At least 3 precious Iranian carpets are known to have adorned the floors and walls of Sigmund Freud's office. The Harris Azerbaijan carpet that decorated the office floor, the Aniliat wall-hanging carpet, and most importantly, the Qashqai Shakarlu carpet from Shiraz in Iran that was spread out on a famous couch where Freud's patients would lie down for psychoanalysis, which was given to him by his cousin who lived in Thessaloniki, Moritz Freud, in 1883. The English writer Marina Warner, in her article Freud's Couch, a historical case study, uses the design of the rug covering Freud's sofa as a matter for his analysis. The central 3 diamond medallions of the rug on Freud's couch are framed within several rims of different widths and details. Going toward the core, it is as if Freud chose to give his patients a place to lie, dream, and speak, which reproduces patterns of patterning, knotting, repetition, intertwining, and combining what was there to the goat as he listened to the patient. They are quite complex in design and in color palette, and are particularly conducive to reverie. The eyes and the mind of his patients can literally dive and circulate into the design. This can be more liberating and less distressing than a white wall. For the rug on the couch, we can add the tactile dimension. A rug is a reassuring substitute of the motherly lap. So again, when we speak of neutrality in psychoanalysis, and we hear this, it seems there's a different story. Again, this was Freud. What about Jung? Jung hardly speaks or mentions, at least to my knowledge, I stand to be corrected, anything about Oriental carpets. Though, if you enter the house, his house, at Seestrasse in Zurich, in Kusnacht, you can see in his library, there's a big red Oriental carpet. There's another big one in his study, and there's another picture, a big one in his living room. The book, The House of C.G. Jung by his grandson Andreas Jung, does not mention anything about these carpets and where they came from. In the Red Book, in Jung's Incantation, he writes, "Set the egg before you, the God in his beginning. Christmas has come. The God is in the egg. I have prepared a rug for my God, an expensive red rug from the land of mourning." His disciple, his most closest disciple, Marie-Louise von Franz, in her book Interpretation of Fairy Tales, writes, "The symbol of the carpet with its designs is often used as a symbol for the complex symbolic patterns of life and the secret designs of fate. It represents the greater pattern of our life, which we do not know as long as we live it. The purposiveness of an individual life pattern, which gives one a feeling of meaningfulness, is very often symbolized in the carpet. Only if you look from afar, from a certain objective distance, do you realize that there is a pattern of wholeness in it. Again, these Oriental carpets entered the European imaginary. Important elements of the Western imaginary of Oriental carpets, such as the escapism of the flying carpet and the erotically tinged sensuality of Orientalist interiors, derive partly from translations of the Arabic Night stories, which were translated by the French Orientalist Antoine Galland in the early 18th century, in circulation amongst Europeans and North Americans since the 18th century. And they can also be seen as an antidote to a European mentality which emphasized rationalism. Legends of magic carpets date back, however, to the 8th century and are found throughout the Eastern world. There is a relationship again of magic carpets and alchemy in the story of King Solomon and Queen Sheba, and how she kind of sought the services of an alchemist to make a magic carpet. However, when this was not taken on board by King Solomon, kind of this alchemist could no longer make the magic carpet fly. The idea of magic carpets also kind of takes us into the idea of the Miraya, the spiritual ascension of Muhammad from Mecca to Jerusalem on a winged horse. In the Christian tradition, we have the saint of students, Saint Joseph of Cupertino, in the Christian tradition, which also flies, has this ability to fly. However, on the magic carpet, we can see it as we rise above our daily strife and gain insight on the bigger picture of our world. It is a metaphor for creative inspiration. The magic carpet can also be seen as a sublimation, as we see in the therapeutic work of the French psychotherapist Robert Dessoir. While here we can speak of an anabasis, of an ascent, in Jung we find a catabasis, kind of a more emphasis on going down, as we find in the Red Book. So I'm now we'll try again to combine this idea of dreaming in groups, and also weaving with a group application of a method which I developed called imaginative movement therapy, which is a facilitative approach to active imagination. In using imaginative movement therapy within a group setting, one is invited to start a waking dream until the group facilitator feels one can invite another person to continue the sentence or part of the dream he or she is saying out loud from the previous client traveler, which like a snowball grows as it moves. In the following case example of a group waking dream narrative, what I call a dream tapestry, archetypal aspects from the Orient emerge, tying in dreaming, Oneiric imaginative journeying, weaving, and carpets. Let us have a look.
Leonard,
like
just one more minute.
Yeah. I would like to speak about an experience with a group in which I was teaching this approach. Participants were mixed gender and also mixed ages and nationality. Towards the end of the training, when I'm teaching the group methodologies in IMT to an advanced training group, I give them an experience of dream weaving method to teach them the technique, but also to reflect about their encounter in learning. So as to give space to what is conscious and easily expressible, as well what is unconscious and more difficult to elaborate. The stimulus to start the group waking dream was about entering the harbor as the kind of course was coming to an end. And once started, I am seeing several small houses on the front and hills at the back. Then I decide to go down from the boat and explore. I find myself in a market, like an Arabic market. People are buying different things, carpets, spices. Another one continues. It is now getting a little dark. There is fire. People are having a barbecue. I decide to join in as I am invited to sit around the fire while someone rings and plays music. Food tastes really good. I look at the outline of hills in the distance and I yearn to go further, but it is now dark. I return to the boat. Without going into each individual symbol, one can see in the dream tapestry a level of coming together. An inclusive communitas has been reached in the group. The group would share about their experience of learning together in that particular group. The bazaar, the souk, an archetypal motif of a space of exchange, and the fire, which echoes of God Mazda, and the barbecue, but also the things that were not talked about, such as the aspect of asking clients, my students, to buy into my theory, the hills in the distance, the students wanting to learn more. Dream weaving creates something new in between participant travelers as they continue to trust and weave from their souls, something which belongs to the collective or group as a whole. The traveler's trip or journey in fantasy flights and access new meanings and layers of the group mind. The final dream, weave, tapestry, or carpet can be looked at together and witnessed like a mandala or a Persian carpet rosette, and new revelations can continue to be teased out as they help to center and ground the group members. This is the last slide. Thanks for listening and all the best for the festive season. The Three Wise Kings, the tomb of the three wise men in Iran, in Cassar, where the legend says that they come from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lana. That was a very beautiful presentation, very insightful.